Hey everyone, just jumping on before we start the episode for a specific call out to our ACT listeners. There is currently a petition that I would encourage you to sign that we've linked in the description about saving the bare-nosed wombat in the ACT. There has been some proposed legislation to change how these animals are categorized, I guess, which would then in turn allow for the culling of wombats in the ACT, which is not an ideal circumstance at all. So if you would like to protect and save the bare-nosed wombat in the ACT, I do strongly encourage you to go and sign that petition. Okay, thank you. Bye.
It's a crazy thing to have said. Hey, if you're just joining us, Yani said something absolutely bizarre. I want you to repeat it for the audience so they can really get the breadth of it.
I read an article this morning contending that Karl Stefanovic might be Australia's Joe Rogan.
I have this curious beast that lives inside of my head, and I'm about to unleash that beast.
Which is incredible. We're going to get the Karl Stefanovic experience. What are we gonna call that? Because, as listeners of the pod, you may know, I do call it the Rogan Josh experience.
Right, so what Indian meal?
What Indian meal is Karl Stefanovic?
Dal. That motherfucker is a papadum drenched in ghee.
Damn, all right. Experience. We've done it.
I mean, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. But I ain't spending any time on it. Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. But I ain't spending any time on it.
Welcome back to Shouldntacome, a podcast about Australia and the ways it is and isn't. I'm Kieran.
I'm Yani.
And today we're going to be running through some news that's emerged over the last couple of weeks. So a bit of a different episode, but, standard news roundup.
Including a bit that's emerged over the last day.
Yeah, most importantly, however, is the recent joint attack by the US and Israel on Iran. On the 28th of February, at some time after 10 a.m. Tehran time, Iran was attacked by a series of missile strikes that seemed to be intending to topple the current government. Ostensibly, this is in the name of peace. And not to be too anarchist about it, but the means justify the ends. And you know damn well wars don't cause peace, or we wouldn't have any more fucking wars.
We wouldn't have any more fucking wars. Since you wrote that, I think you haven't checked the news. They've confirmed they killed the Ayatollah.
They have confirmed it? God damn it. Yeah, because when I checked earlier this morning, it was like, oh, maybe. But then again, they were like, oh, has Iran actually come out and said, yeah, he's dead?
Oh, actually.
Because right now it's just been, what I've seen is Israel being like, yeah, he's dead, and the US...
That's him. That's his soul.
That's just zooming past.
Trump says...
Yeah, Trump and Netanyahu have both been claiming that he's dead, but, Iran hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, from the images, if he was indeed housed in the location they struck, he's dead.
Hey, listen.
But if he was not housed in there at that time, who's to say?
He might be alive. He might have been at that school where they killed 80 kids.
Yeah, speaking of all of that, anything you'd like to comment on in terms of what you've read so far? And more importantly, what does our Supreme Leader think of this whole situation?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. I saw a friend of mine, you know who you are, sent me a message of one of their friends who is like, hey, we're going to have a little, an Iranian friend. Hey, we're going to have a little morning tea to celebrate the attack, the death of Khomeni or whatever. The leader who's been oppressing us or whatever. It's like, imagine having a morning tea when 80 children were bombed at a school.
That just sounds like...
It's very Israeli
just a fun Israeli
Yeah, that's the
occupation.
thing. But it's like an Iranian person
which
having
is crazy.
the morning tea. It's bizarre. And obviously, our Supreme Leader has said, I've got the quote here, Australia stands with the brave people of Iran in their struggle against oppression, is what Albo said. He said that there were Iran directed 2 attacks on Australian soil which targeted the Jewish community. Now, to be clear, 0 casualties of either. Also, I don't necessarily believe that's true, that Iran directed these, lone psychos in any meaningful way.
Funnily enough, I think they have bigger fish to fry than random Australian attacks when they are literally,
under full sanction.
Yes.
I think
they've got some shit to do, actually.
The people are starving and in revolt. I was listening to the Adnan Hussein show, and they did an episode a couple of days ago being like, hey, it sure looks like they're going to go to war in Iran. And I'm listening to it now. The kind of propaganda that's coming out in the US about it, there's the Gazification of it, where they are starting to feed stories about how the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, they have their headquarters in hospitals and schools and stuff.
Yeah, the classic being like, hey, the reason we have to do, like, what is, like, absolutely genocidal behavior, which is targeting the youth and targeting, like, hospitals, that's so that you can kill as many people as possible and they have the least amount of chance of recovering, right?
Yes.
Like,
It
as a
devastates
culture, as
the
a society.
Yeah.
It's that same playbook. And it's also what we're seeing as well. I saw some things where it's like the US line is, Iran, we've done it. We've killed your leaders. Rise up and take control
and that's been
of your country and be
premise.
capitalists just like us, you know?
Yeah.
And it's that excuse of, and it's America's favorite excuse, liberation.
Liberation.
Right? And it's never liberation of people, it's liberation of resource.
Exactly. Liberation of resource. I, like, further on the Adnan Hussein show, the guest, whose name I've forgotten, but I'll link it in the description. It was a really good episode. He was talking about how, ironically, a great deal of the protests in Iran over the last 20 years has been about, during the brief period of, like, relative peace, how much liberalization of the economy happened, how much European business was able to interfere with what were previously nationally owned resources under Khomeni.
His name is pronounced Khamenei.
Right? And that's a big part of what people are upset about. Ironically enough, that, he was willing to open up to European trade very quickly. When the world opened up, they moved away from trade with China to Europe as quickly as they could. And that's the current leadership structure. But also the insanity, like Hamas having a command center wherever, whatever. I don't believe that in general, but a bunch of the places in Gaza have been bombed, and Hamas has no money. We're talking about a government. They have buildings, they have bunkers, they have proper military places, they have unmarked houses. Like, why would they be meeting in a school?
Yeah, they were already talking about the network of underground bunkers in Tehran.
Yeah.
Like, which is like, just like already built and readily accessible and like used,
Yeah, used regularly. Like, what nonsense
Actually,
is
I'm
this?
going to the school.
So that they won't bomb it. It's like, well,
I know what'll protect me. Geneva Conventions. It works so well all the time.
It also means that the Iranian fucking government don't read any news ever.
Yes.
They haven't heard of anything. It's like, when has that stopped Israel and the US?
Have somehow just like forgotten any history that they may have had within living memory of like all those human rights abuses and how easily it is for the West to do whatever they choose to do. In the same way it's easy for the rich to commit a crime, right?
Yeah. I mean,
when the West is
happening
rich
here.
and committing a crime, it's not a crime, right?
It's liberation.
It's liberation, and even if we get convicted, we'll just pay a fine and it's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas Iran, very naughty, very bad, did so many crimes, sanction,
So many sanctions.
and now we're going to bomb you back to the Stone Age kind of shit.
That's the idea.
Like, that's the whole thing. Unless, of course, we can install a puppet leader and take all your resources.
Exactly.
And even then, you're not going to have a good life. You're not going to have a good standard of living.
Well,
but you will be alive, I guess.
It's funny, like, when you refer to the puppet leader, so recently, in the last couple of years, the Syrian, as it were, dictator, al-Assad or whatever, Bashar al-Assad, I've forgotten, he was deposed, and the guy who took charge, which was, like, celebrated in the West, he's going to be a liberalizer, he was a general with al-Qaeda until recently. And I was reading this morning, in the areas where ISIS, Daesh traditionally had their stronghold, they are returning since his election because he has been fairly subservient to international interests, and people are seeing the effect of that.
Yeah.
So they've brought back ISIS. Congratulations, guys. You brought ISIS back.
That's really, really funny. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's Frankenstein and his monster. Like,
Yeah, it is. You can't kill it, I guess. That's how
I
it ends,
guess?
right? Like,
I don't know.
in part 2, they fight, and it turns out you can't kill the monster.
It does. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's obviously...
The vampire and his creation? I don't know.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting to see the Frankenstein's monster that is the Labour Party trying to... Like, the headlines I saw in Order on The Guardian. Do you have the screenshot I sent you?
It was just like... Let me whip that up. We have the most bitter news. Iran reels as more than 80 children reportedly killed in school bombing. Next one is Trump vies for Bush's crown for worst foreign policy decision in history.
Regarding the bombing in Iran.
Yep. And then the final one. Albanese says Australia supports US action against Iran and stands with the Iranian people's struggle against oppression.
And what do you got from Simon Tisdall right under that?
As world on edge as Trump bombs Iran and triggers war in the Middle East, there was no need for this.
So that's it. Like, Albo, Penny Wong immediately came out in full-throated support for this.
Of course. I mean, you have to open up your throat. I mean, they're pretty used to opening up their throats for the US. You know? Exactly. So, like, it's unsurprising. I think it's much of what we were speaking about today earlier is this interesting public transformation of Anthony Albanese.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's losing his mind a little bit, and
I genuinely think he's going through a mental break, or he is about to have a mental break. He's on the cusp.
He's not
like
well.
some fucking crisis.
Something's going to happen, and like this. Not that again, like pointing out the hypocrisy of a politician is just for us to be like these mean people. But
No.
Albanese made a lot of hay about being against the Iraq War, and at the time he said it was on grounds of the justification for this war is not there. And it's going to lead to human rights abuses. And we know now that that wasn't on any morality basis. We know now for certain, many times over, that that was on the basis of, well, he was in opposition at the time.
Exactly, and that's what you do in opposition. You
exactly.
Just
You
be
oppose the war.
a fucking devil's advocate for everything because you're a little rat bitch.
Exactly.
But also, we must also remember his support of Palestine to the point of going to Palestine.
Going to Palestine. Being in the
And,
Friends
you
of
know,
Palestine.
Seeing how that's all
Yeah, how that's all
turned
shaken
out.
Well, he knows who butters his bread.
Absolutely. And, like, I think it's interesting that, obviously, with these two things, he is experiencing a personality switch-up across multiple fields. Like,
Real
there are
Freaky Friday situation.
There's some recent hits of Albanese, which is using loaded misogynistic language towards sexual assault survivor advocate Grace Tame.
Grace, difficult, tame.
Exactly. That's correct. Come on,
But yeah,
man.
so finish what you said.
You dumb bitch. Like,
For those who haven't heard.
yeah, so said that. Another thing that he has said is that he's really proud to say that a pedophile and a rapist shouldn't be in line to theoretically inherit Australia. Not because he's a pedophile or a rapist, but because we said it first.
Yeah.
Just like a 10-year-old in a
so
YouTube comment section.
Embarrassing. So again,
Right?
to catch people up who might not be aware, this is Albo being like after they arrested Prince Andrew. And I want to be clear, I'm going to keep calling him Prince Andrew because that was a prince who committed those crimes.
Yeah, he did it while princely or whatever.
So like this is something that implicates the royal family, so he's going to stay Prince Andrew in my eyes. Like it really reifies.
You can't divorce that from what happened.
Exactly.
If he wasn't a prince, that wouldn't have been
Well,
happening.
if he was just a random rich guy, he would have been there as well. Oh,
You know?
right.
Probably had less
Folks,
protection though because he's such a fucking freak.
Andrew's got so many kids.
Oh, yeah,
Folks,
quick. News alert,
very
news alert,
quickly,
news alert.
Boo, 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 boo. I've obviously been searching the names of prominent Australians into the Jeffrey Epstein emails just every once in a while. I'm not spending too much time on it, but today I finally hit on one that no one else has found. So Solomon Lew, who's one of Australia's richest people, and for what it's worth, one of Australia's most prominent Zionists, but like Meyer and stuff, a lot of importing. He has a stake in David Jones. And he's in the Epstein files. Him and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had dinner in Australia at some point. I have reached out to his firm for comment or whatever, which is very exciting to say.
Fun.
I haven't heard back. So Solomon Lew, Solly Lew, in the Epstein files. We've got one.
We got him.
This is a Shouldntacome exclusive.
Exactly, you heard it here first.
If they reply, I'll cut that audio in. But this episode might come a little sooner than usual, so I can get this hot off the presses.
Hell yes.
That I found an email from a guy 18 years ago.
Fuck yes, you did.
But continue about Albo, who called Grace Tame difficult and said he's excited that Prince Andrew, he's like, I think we should kick Prince Andrew off the royal line of succession. And we're the first to say it because we're the first to be on the right side of history.
You know?
It's like, it's been a while that he's been the disgraced Prince Andrew.
You know?
Like,
And it's only after an arrest and also, I guess, after he got word that this is all happening that he's like, and actually, Australia said it first.
it's not true. Archie's just yelling at you.
and
fucking
yeah,
hate him.
you know, the third thing that I thought was, one of Albo's greatest hits of late.
Go on, an Albo salvo.
An Albo salvo is telling Australian ISIS brides that they're fucked and we won't help them.
Oh, God. Should we just talk about that now?
Yeah. Do you want to dive into it?
Yeah, I've got his exact words here regarding the ISIS brides. They made their bed, they have to lie in it. We've said that what we aren't doing is providing reparation of these people. I have nothing but contempt for these people. Oof. Oof.
Crazy.
Nothing but contempt for for trafficked women.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Everyone.
Well, I mean, they were probably being difficult.
Yeah, I mean, they were being difficult. They were unhappy with what they could see about the world around them, and then they were also brainwashed by a cult. And I think, well, if we go into the cult aspect of it, if you haven't been paying attention, there are something like 12, 15 women in a Syrian ex-ISIS prison camp or something like that, or refugee camp or something like that, with children that have like Australian passports. Mostly were people who were born here, Australian citizens.
Yeah.
And there is this political back and forth over the bringing of them back to Australia.
Yes.
Where the Liberal Party is saying they're dangerous terrorists, and the Labor Party is saying we have nothing but contempt for these people. So it's a really strange political back and forth because it's not clear what's actually being argued because no one's going to bring them over.
Right? That's the thing. Well, I think what's being argued is the premise of the matter, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to, I think, determine a lot of future incidents where there will be discussions about can we bring an Australian citizen back to Australia after something international has happened.
Exactly.
I think this is going to be setting like a precedent for
I think so.
a lot of future stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the justification of which is crazy as well, because I have also seen articles of these women being like, please just take my kids. Like,
Yes.
please just take my
I think
kids. You
they've
don't
generally
have to
said,
take me.
take
Just
the kids.
Take my kids.
Yeah, just like
Put them somewhere as long as they're safe. You
Yeah.
can, do whatever. Like, just
They're going to die here.
take my fucking kids. Yeah.
So, going into that, right? So, if we strip the political context of what ISIS is in relation to Australia, and just keep in mind, like, they are a cult, a death cult, and that's the term the LNP uses, but they are considered to be a cult. They're obviously also a political organization.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, it's a thin line, isn't it?
well, yeah, exactly. It is a very thin line, but like the accepted belief about ISIS, I think, across the whole political spectrum is that they're a cult. I think the right would say that they are a mindless, bloodthirsty cult, and the left would say they are a evil, bloodthirsty cult with a specific intention that fits within a larger structure that was born by the US. But either way, they behave like a cult.
Yeah.
And we are talking about women, in many cases, trafficked women, in many cases, in some cases, women who were trafficked there underage.
Yeah.
Or coerced there by their family, who are trying to leave a cult. And they are citizens here. And it makes no sense for the party fighting that cult to refuse women and children who are trying to leave it and are not currently associated with it. On this basis, if you are to accept those people, it weakens the material basis of the death cult. It's like, look at how many people are leaving because they hate it.
Yeah.
On this basis, it would serve as a propaganda victory against ISIS.
Yeah.
On this basis, those children are less likely to be future terrorists, as it were, if they come back to Australia.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's like, hey, you are now going to be fully removed from that situation and, in an ideal world, embraced into another country and given, the pathway to a new opportunity, which is just not feeling alienated and attacked from all sides in the way that the cult would have taught you is how the world is, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
everybody hates you. And now you are stuck in a camp knowing that everybody hates you. And what, you don't think these children will be radicalized by that environment?
When
Of course they
ISIS
would.
gets strong again and takes over the camp, all those kids are going to sign up.
Yeah.
Especially because, probably by then a bunch of their mums are going to die.
Yeah.
From some reason or another. We're talking about like 16, 17, 18-year-olds being married off to much older men.
Yeah.
Being married again once they're there. Not being able to leave once they're there. It's not... So that's all like... If you, for instance, consider Hillsong. Let's say that Hillsong were doing real like Christian nationalism stuff out in the desert. And then like 5 women and children who have left Hillsong want to come back into Australian life. And we said, no, you have to go back.
Crazy.
Insane shit. But let's bring in some context, right? So ISIS, or Daesh, is a caliphate, which basically means we're trying to get control over this area. We want to function like a quasi-state under an ideology referred to in the West as jihadism, But the idea behind that is that they are a violent group who intend on increasing the area of the world that they're able to control through a military conquest. Right? Their armed wing brings in fighters from all over the world with an ideological commitment to their cause and or a desire to participate in violence. We see this from numerous accounts of tortures, executions, and indefinite detentions, and we are to understand that somebody who would want to join this is not somebody we would like in Australia. So, comparatively, the IDF is the armed wing of the Israeli state, which functions like a caliphate. They arrived, they brought fighters in from all over the world who were ideologically committed to a movement that is called Zionism, and they still do so. They are a violent group who have militarily seized territory, and we see their violence through endless accounts of tortures, executions, and indefinite detention, as well as the wholesale slaughter of Palestinian children in the streets. There are 621 Australians who are in the IDF, at least. These are opaque statistics. The Herald Sun talked to a couple of Israeli Australians shortly after the October 7 attacks, one who went to Israel and the other whose daughter went to Israel. Now, importantly here, both those people who went over to Israel to join the IDF were students at Liebler Yavne College, which is Mark Liebler's comprehensive Zionist school, right? I guess I pulled out a couple of quotes from this and a few other Australian IDF fighters. One is from this 24-year-old named Baruch who's going over and he's like, we sanctify life while Hamas sanctifies death. So it's this very anodyne way of speaking about things.
Yeah, and also just bald-faced lie.
A bald-faced lie. Did you read the quote from the girl's mother by any chance?
I think so.
It's a really interesting one. It's disgusting, but also I think it really demonstrates the death cult mentality we're talking about here.
Remind me of it if you've got it.
Yeah, I'll read it out for you. So this girl Gila Lipschatz. So I'm less sure that she went to. There is someone with the same name who is roughly the same age, as far as I can tell, who went to Liebler Yavne College. But Baruch says it openly.
Okay, cool. So unsure if it's if she also went, but
yeah, exactly. So this girl's mother is she's all about helping people. She's not there to be in a war. She lives a meaningful life. But while it breaks my heart that my daughter is there on the front line, no one else is going to secure our homeland for us. That is, can you imagine if one of the, relative children or teenagers who went to join ISIS, we're talking to their mom, and she's like, it breaks my heart, but she had to do it? Yeah. They'd arrest her.
Yeah.
They'd arrest her immediately. The AJN,
Absolutely.
which is Australian Jewish News, they did this very celebratory article with the returned IDF fighters. And he went to Israel with the sole purpose of joining the IDF. He's an Aussie guy. I think he's from Sydney. The other two were both from Melbourne. So he joins Sayeret Golani from the Golani Brigades, which are the front line attack of the Israeli army. And the Sayeret do special operations. They, if you remember the incident where a bunch of medics were killed.
Yeah.
That was them. And I don't know if he was there then. He claims he was once part of Benjamin Netanyahu's security detail.
Big boots.
Which I also don't believe, because I think this guy's also a liar. But the way he put it, he's nearly every residence harbors weapons and Hamas paraphernalia, effectively transforming the area into a stronghold of terrorism. So those are both since October 7, but I also wanted to talk about one from 2020.
Yeah.
They spoke to, I think, 3 or 4 lone soldiers, which is the term that the Israeli army uses for people coming in, who are all from Australia. I don't think I got their last names, although I did find one of them on Twitter. I think she works for ZFA now. But the first one said, becoming a lone soldier gives me the chance to fight for my country. It gives me a chance to be who I really want to be, a full-blood Israeli. What do you think about that?
And here's the thing. Now here's the thing. I can acknowledge right now that I'm a white Australian man about to say this.
Hell yeah. This is a white lady.
Yeah. I think then, in that case, if she doesn't like it here, she should leave.
Yeah, she should.
She should not be coming back. If she has Israeli citizenship and she wants to be there,
yeah,
then just be there. Don't fucking come back here.
If the ISIS brides aren't coming back.
Exactly. Or let's detour for a brief moment to that silly fucking British dual national who
oh my god
got the fucking shits because she.
There's endless stories of this in the news.
Just
the Britain passport change. Dual nationals no longer can use the Satan granted ability to transport halfway across the world whenever they want.
Yeah, boo-hoo, so sad. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, live one place.
Yeah. Hey. don't, like, here's the thing. Don't fucking sit on the fence with, like, citizenship and shit. And then be cranky that no country is going to give you special treatment.
Yeah.
Because, what? You've got, like, this special treatment booklet? I don't know. It's just, like...
Because your parents helped found the colony or whatever.
You know,
shit
like,
that.
it's just bullshit. Like,
It's
just
complete bullshit.
Don't fucking do it. Like, just grow up. Grow up.
Yeah, it's grow up. It's
such infant shit.
It's such infant shit. Like, it's like, listen, if you live somewhere and you have dual citizenship elsewhere, lucky for you.
Because
if that disappears, too bad.
You know? And it's not as if this now, like, prevents these people from going back to the motherland.
They can still get a British passport.
You can still go get a British passport. Sorry, you have to fill in a form. Wah.
Oh no, you have to pay more money.
You can still just go with an Australian passport. Like, I fear these people are so stupid.
They are so stupid.
I fear they have...
And that's why they're traveling to the United Kingdom twice a year.
For fun.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Anyway, back to the subject.
Do you want another quote? Or do you have more to say about this quote? Because I've got another quote.
Give me another one.
All right, I've got 3 from this article in total. I feel so strongly about doing combat that I must do combat. I am not afraid of it. It's just where my life is supposed to take me.
I don't know. Get into the fight sports, get a brain injury, and like retire, and I don't know.
Beat your wife.
Beat your wife, and then eventually be arrested for, like, you know, family annihilation.
Yeah.
If that's what you want in your life, then
I must
go
do
and
combat.
Do that.
My life is supposed to take me to combat. We're talking about an Australian joining the IDF.
Which is insane. This is just code for I cannot wait to kill Browns. I feel like I have to kill Browns. If I don't kill Browns, what was it all for? Being
my life
white.
It's
what does it mean to be white if I don't get to kill Brown?
That's exactly right. It's like an entitlement to combat, to killing. Like, it's starting to feel like the point is to keep the combat going, as like they don't give a shit about Greater Israel. They want to just keep. That's what it feels like, because that's what this person's saying. Like, religiously, I have to go. Like,
this is someone with an aspect in their brain of what we would describe as criminality, but has just enough self-control not to be executing it on, like, his own immediate community.
Yes.
But knows that this urge within himself has to be, like, expunged.
He's edging.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he has to do this.
Yeah.
And a man with perhaps less self-control would do it in the community and would go to jail. Yeah. Because you can't just be doing that shit.
You can't just be doing that shit.
But if he can do it in a state-sanctioned way, not only does he become a hero for expressing his violent urges, he can do it on a community that he sees as lesser than himself.
Exactly.
Which makes him feel better as well.
Exactly.
Like, it's just a cocktail of fuckery. It's just nonsense. It's fucked.
You ready for the last one?
Go on.
So this is again from an Australian going to serve in Israel before 2023. So this is just
again, this is just like when things haven't, like, kicked off again.
In the same way. It's just like when they're doing the regular oppression. I can say wholeheartedly that I have never seen a more ethically grounded military when dealing with one of the most complicated conflicts in the world.
Come on, man.
We're not sending our best.
No.
Most ethical military.
Most ethical. Which is so, like, it's just... And full offense, I think, when you have no option other than, like... And I think we're talking about US states of being and other countries where the military and choosing to go into the army is a way to better your life for yourself, right?
Yeah,
there
the
are some
poverty
people,
draft there for
exactly, the poverty draft notwithstanding, for people who choose voluntarily to go into the military, not by circumstance, but by genuine desire, there's something fucking wrong with you.
A couple of them did it as their gap year.
Yeah.
They joined the IDF on their gap year.
That's how all the advertisements are for the Australian military as well, right? It's just like, hey, you know, you've left school, you're about to go on a whirlwind adventure. You're going to learn skills out here with the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, friends for life. You know, all those fucking ads where they have, like, people lifting up their shirts, they've got army fatigue underneath or whatever, and they're just like, she's a mother, she's a nurse, she's a teacher, she has a 50%, like, headshot rate, like, she's incredible, you know?
She could really,
like,
hit motherfuckers in the head.
Yeah, she's like, she has committed 19 drone strikes.
Yeah,
like,
she's a mother, 19 women aren't.
Slay.
Because of her.
Exactly. You know, like, the military is seen as being an adventure for idiots. Like, it is a way to go on your fun Kentucky gap year.
Yes.
To go and be a horrible Australian overseas, as so many are, and also get paid for it.
Yeah.
And also, you get to touch weapons and stuff.
You get to touch weapons.
And that means people have to respect you. So nobody can be mean to me anymore because I got drunk and I have a gun.
Yay. Thanks, Daddy.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's bullies, it's idiots, it's thrill seekers, and it's like
Morally dubious characters, people who want to cause harm to others.
morally dubious idealists, where that ideal is Zionism. We had one more thing about this, which is, I guess, it brings it all together, right? Because in 2024, so there were two Israelis. There was a group of, I think, 13, 15 people all coming for like a birthday party down here, right? From Israel. And two of them had to fill out a form because they were in the Israeli army. And when you come into Australia and you serve in a foreign military, you have to fill in a certain form. I don't know what it is. I don't care. They got the standard form.
Probably just like, hey, are you on active duty right now?
Yeah.
And like, hey, are you on like break or whatever?
Exactly. Probably just like you have, so you can say that. So then if you do something, your army isn't in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Shit like that, right? And they refused to fill out the form. And they were kind of framing it as that they were denied entry. But they weren't. They refused to fill out the form. It's a brother and sister. The sister went back to Israel. And she is an active soldier. So she's probably killing.
Yeah.
And the brother, who's like a reservist, was like figuring out his options. But it's not like, it's because they couldn't fill out the form. Like...
Incorrect. They wouldn't fill out the form.
Their brother, I think, another brother, or maybe an uncle, a family representative who has the same last name, said, "Why are we subjecting friendly allies to war crime investigations?"
Well, we're not, but it's very Freudian for you to tell on yourself like that.
Right.
Like, it's the same as being like, oh, you didn't fill out your customs declaration. You have to fill out the customs declaration or you don't get into Australia.
Yes.
Like, that's just like one of the, like, you know how international travel is like a fucking privilege and not a, like, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people do.
No, and when it's impinged, they reveal how privileged they are.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that they weren't. I look again, to be clear. All those 621 like Australians who were in the IDF, I don't think they should be allowed entry back into Australia.
Correct. I don't think so
Obviously,
either. I think it's like, hey, you've gone to serve in a foreign military. You shouldn't be coming back.
Exactly, especially because they
Like-
can live comfortably there.
Yes.
Like, it'd be one thing if somebody was in ISIS, I guess, was like a fighter in ISIS, and now is just a poverty-stricken random person. It's like, yeah, I would imagine that Australia would prosecute that person.
Yeah.
But it is Australia's responsibility. It's
know?
our system that created that. At the end of the day, whatever it is, even if it's just like they're alienated from our system and so they've gone that way, it is a system in Australia that's created that. It's there was really, I've forgotten the exact quote, but it was an article from Pearls and Irritations, and they were like, there is violence here because Muslims are being killed there.
Yeah.
And Australians do not want to accept that.
Yeah,
they cannot accept that.
It's the ripple effect. It's if you make people feel alienated from the community that they are physically in, they are going to search out for community elsewhere.
Yep.
And there are bad actors in this world that seek those vulnerable people
Yes.
and convert them into whatever they need to have happen.
Exactly.
That is how a cult works. That is how so many things work. That's how you get, many of the ills of our current society, youth crime being one of them.
Yeah.
You alienate kids, you treat them like shit, you refuse to understand them. They're going to find people who do. And often the people who do probably want something from them.
Yeah.
Probably don't have their best intentions, like, at heart.
But
You know,
they say the right things.
Exactly.
It's not, because it's not that hard to.
No.
That being said, I saw some youth crime recently.
You did see some youth crime recently, didn't you?
Oh, gosh. So I'm on a bus, right? There's this 11-year-old kid at the back. And he's like, got hooligan haps blasting out of his speaker. I get on the bus. I see the bus driver storm up to the back as I get on. He's like, hello. And then he gets out of his little cabin thing, the cockpit, storms up to the back. And I'm like, I got to see this. So I go up mostly all the way to the back as well and just like sit down. And there's this kid. And he keeps saying, like, you don't even know me. I got a hammer. I got a hatchet in my bag. I'm going to call my boys. You don't even know me. You don't know who I am. Can't get out of my face. I got a hammer. And he's playing his music, right?
And it probably sounds a bit more like this.
I got a hammer, I got a hatchet, I'm gonna fuck kill you cunt.
Yes. That's exactly what it sounded like.
This is like a child, a baby child.
He kept saying he just got out of juvie.
I just got out of juvie.
Right? And so after a while, the girl in front of him, shout out, I know your name, but I'm not saying it. But shout out, the poor thing had a problem. because he just kept yelling, and eventually he's like, "You don't know who I am, cunt."
You know who I am, cunt.
And she's like, "Of course I don't know who you are. You're 11." And then they just start yelling at each other for a while. He's still playing the music. But yeah, youth crime, huh? It was kind of wild. I was just like, man, this kid's like completely off the air.
Yeah. Like, this is, once again, a kid who has been, like, alienated by society, right?
Yeah.
No child who feels well-adjusted and safe in his environment is out there doing threats, presumably on drugs, getting into fights on a bus. Like,
Yeah.
unattended. Like, unattended.
With a hammer and a hatchet in his back. I mean,
Allegedly.
he called Fitzy.
His mate Fitzy.
He called his boy Fitzy.
Oh, shit.
Like, obviously I feel really bad for this kid. But, like, once it's done, once that person exists, it's going to be really hard to bring him back. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, this kid is gone. Like right now, like, maybe, not to say that this kid isn't redeemable. I'm sure there's many ways forward. But, like, in this moment, it was like, oh, if this kid does have a hammer, we can either, like, try to engage him and, like, calm him down. But if he doesn't calm down, he just decides to swing his hammer. Like, he's a child. He has no
Yeah.
frontal lobe. He's on drugs. Anyway, but what are we going to talk about next?
Oh, gosh, yes. I guess onto something a little bit lighter, but still ultimately racist.
Oh, no.
I thought we'd discuss the increasing atmosphere of racism in the Australian zeitgeist.
Yeah, let's talk it.
And it's always been there. This is a deeply racist country formed through deeply racist colonialism.
That's how it happened.
But it certainly feels a bit louder and more popular lately.
Yes. And we're also being told by a lot of newspapers that it's more popular.
Yeah, exactly. But I also thought that we'll start with a little bit of fun, which is getting into the heist of the century. Not the theft of priceless jewels from the Louvre in Paris, but the theft of a 420-kilogram bronze statue of Mahatma Gandhi from the Australian Indian Community Centre in Melbourne.
Yes, it's a very interesting story, Karen. I'll correct you slightly. It's the theft of most of the 420-kilogram statue of
Minus
Gandhi.
a handful of kilos, I imagine, because, yes, of course, as you may or may not be aware, they cut him off at the ankles, so it's just his feet left.
His feet are left. They sawed him off at the ankles. His feet are left. It's a better piece of art, much more beautifully symbolic. It's an interesting one. The center was like, we're sure this has no anti-Indian sentiment because there was no graffiti left. And whenever we get anti-Indian stuff, there's graffiti.
Which is very interesting.
I-
So this statue has been the
Yeah,
target
right.
of...
Oh my God.
It has been the target of attacks before, funnily enough. So the first was actually the evening that it was unveiled.
Wouldn't even wait a day.
They attempted to behead it with some sort of angle grinder.
And did they know who it was?
I don't believe so. I
Yeah.
don't think they found the culprit, which
I-
is why I have my conspiracy theory.
Oh my God.
Which is that it is the same person who has successfully stolen it this time around, made the attempt in 2021, tried to saw off the head, was like, oh, this is actually quite hard.
Yeah, there's a lot ahead here.
Theorized, thought it through, got like genuine like construction equipment
Yep.
because you can't just
He has-
dismantle 415, let's say, kilograms of bronze and like cart it away
my
by yourself. Like you can't do that.
He
like
had
the
to have
ankles are
some
the
kind of
thinnest part, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense. You can grind through that pretty quick, much
Yeah.
better than the
And
neck.
just put him in some shoes.
And just put him in some shoes. Put him in the Nikes.
That's what we were saying.
You know,
Shout out
Gandhi and the Air
Journal.
Force Ones.
We were chatting yesterday. We were talking about it. Air Force Ones. What
You
we're going to
know-
put Gandhi in.
God damn it. But like, yeah, I'm very interested. There were graffiti incidents as well. I
Yes.
couldn't find too much on them, but apparently there were some reported in 2023 and 2024.
Yeah, and they seemed like very much like anti-Indian graffiti from white people.
Yeah,
because I
just
think that current of racism,
Standard,
like anti-Indian stuff, is more Melbourne. I would say Sydney
Yes.
is anti-Asian, Melbourne's anti-Indian.
And you'll find that that's interesting because it does kind of, I guess, reflect the majority diasporas, right?
I think so. It reflects a lot of different things. We were talking about it yesterday as well, where there is like a little India in Melbourne that's much older than the equivalent thing in Sydney, vice versa.
Yeah.
Chinatown in Sydney is humongous.
Huge. An institution.
And there is kind of not really a Chinatown up here, nor a little India. Up here, there's more like areas where there's lots of Islander and Aboriginal people.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think...
There are like suburbs that are like, they do have a lot of like African immigrants as well.
Exactly. And so that's who the racism here is really focused
yeah.
at. Whereas in Sydney, it's like focused at either Asians or Arabs because of like Lakemba area and stuff.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Lakemba soon.
We'll talk about Lakemba. In Melbourne, I'm not saying that those other people aren't facing racism in Melbourne. I'd say that anti-Indian racism is very prevalent in Melbourne comparatively.
Which
like
makes
that's
sense.
where a lot of it is.
Yeah.
And so that's the graffiti was like anti-Indian graffiti.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, interesting to like attack. I don't know where this at. Maybe it's just off the road, and so you can see it easily.
I think it's like out the front of the
Right.
community
Okay.
centre.
So it's like, because I was about to be
Like,
like,
it's like a
strange-
prominent kind of thing.
It's a strange thing to do, but it's like, oh, they've put a statue up of some Indian guy. If you're just, I guess, a dead shit Nazi style Australian.
And you're just like, I hate Indians. And then you just write, I hate Indians on it. And you're just
Exactly.
like, yeah, that'll show them.
That'll show them for being Indian.
Fuck you.
Idiots.
So I have a couple of questions about this theft.
Yeah.
Yani, where is he now?
Gandhi is going to be, they're going to pan out. There's going to be a Bliss and Esso show, and they're going to pan out to the crowd, and someone's going to be holding him up by the ankles, waving the statue around somehow.
Like a dozen people
A
all
dozen people
supporting
holding it up.
a crowd surfing,
They're going to crowd
footless
surf him
Gandhi.
at a Bliss and Esso concert. That's where he is. He's got there. It's just going to be like a bad version of the time they did it at those Irish boys.
Hell yeah, kneecap or whatever.
And they
Yeah.
had the statue head. Okay, so probably there, or he's in Pauline Hanson's house.
Well, Pauline Hanson was an accident.
Damn, that'd be crazy. Pauline's behind it all.
Her daughter did it.
I knew
It's a
it.
present to Pauline, and that's why Pauline gave her that job.
Lee Hansen, you
Yeah.
fucking... Yeah, you know, and I guess thoughts on the motivations behind this. Do you think this was, like, anti-Indian racism? Do you think this was perhaps a protest against, like, the Modi government, who did donate the statue
Oh, right. I didn't know
to...
that.
Yeah, to
The center.
the centre
Yeah.
in 2021. You know, like, what thoughts? I mean, what's behind this? Because it's kind of weird, right?
It is really weird. It's a strange one because of the scale of the operation.
Yeah, it's kind of
means
crazy to
you
like go
can't
through
write it
all
off.
of that.
Exactly. You
and you
can't
didn't
write-
even just leave the statue on the ground there. You took
Yeah.
it with you.
You like that's
Did you just want the bronze?
that's very likely, I guess. That's the first thing they said to scrap metal dealers. Like, hey,
Yeah.
if you
Hey, if you get an old Indian guy statue come through,
Yeah.
you gotta let us know though.
please let us know. But like, you know, I imagine the literal street value of it might be worth the financial exploit in doing it. It could just be a financial one. That almost makes the most sense to me because of just the scale of it. Because
It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy. I think I would say it does feel something that's a bit more personal than a like fuck Indians being spray painted on it kind of attack.
Yeah.
It does feel like, given the amount of intention, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a anti-Modi kind of thing. Tearing down statues as well, that's very much like one of the vandalisms that like lefties will do as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. It could also be, even in a way, like, because there's lots of like Hindutva fucking Indian nationalist motherfuckers who think Gandhi was too soft on Muslims. So it could be that, right? It could be like a racist Indian who's taking it down. I like don't want to say that it couldn't be just like somebody who hates Indians. It just seems like a lot of effort for what is in general a pretty base libidinal distaste.
Yeah, like a lot of effort and also like leaving a lot of ambiguity. Like you would
Yeah.
imagine that, like they've said in the articles, if this was like purely like anti-Indian racism, there would be like a fuck Indian sprayed
think
somewhere
so.
around there also.
I
You would
imagine they'd want to do something.
I mean, I feel like it's just or like smashed up the center or something.
Yeah.
Like just stealing the statue feels weird.
It does. It feels
It's a
weird. And
weird
given,
thing
like
to
we're
do.
talking 400 kilos. It's not something you
It's
can
fucking
put into a
huge.
car. Now, like
It's
if you just like
life-size.
work on a work site, maybe you just have access to those tools. So that
know?
could be the way. Like I guess if you cut through metal every day, you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna on the way home. I fucking hate
Just-
Indians.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not doing anything this evening.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a statue. Yeah, but it is a confusing one. It is a confusing one, and like, yeah, not to say anything positive about Gandhi. Although the Indian government has urged Australia to hold the culprits account. Listen, you need to look up this picture because it's really funny because it's just his feet left, and it's just very funny. It looks like a cartoon where somebody has sped off too fast and their feet have to catch up to them. But yeah, it's not. There's a lot of statues of Gandhi. There's one in Canberra actually. Apparently, there's one in Fuck, it's a really big statue.
Like it's kind of huge.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to Like, this isn't a single person job by any means.
No, it's like
Like-
high up off the ground.
You know, it's a whole fucking thing. I think they said that there was like 3 people they think that did it, according to like CCTV or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't they can't identify the people.
Did they say what race they were?
I don't know.
Damn it! That's all I care about is what race they were. Still no response from Solomon Lew. I figured out how to check.
Unbelievable.
So no comment from Solomon Lew, friend of Jeffrey Epstein, apparently in 2008.
Well, let's move on to the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of statues damaged in Melbourne,
Yeah.
a monument commemorating a graveyard of colonial settlers was destroyed in the lead up to January 26th
Yeah,
of
this
this
was about
year.
a month ago. We didn't quite talk about it.
The pillar was broken into pieces and graffiti sprayed with "Land Back" and "Death to Australia." Now, it wouldn't have been my personal first choice of colonial statue to deface, but it seems like it's one of the ones that were least suspected and had the least security around it. So, you know, like, kudos to smart thinking.
There's a
There
to
was
and
apparently
fro.
quite a lot of, particularly on, like, statues of people, as we've just spoken with Gandhi. Statues of people were getting a lot of, attention from police and security in the lead up to January 26th.
Well, especially 'cause
whereas this
that's-
one is just like a pillar in a park,
Yeah, it
which makes sense as a target, but I'm just kind of like, it just doesn't feel like it's got that much oomph to it.
it doesn't have a lot of oomph, although they didn't take it. This
No,
one
they
they've
just broke it.
destroyed,
Yeah, exactly.
Sprayed the triangle on it, the red triangle. So it's clearly like it aiming to present as a from the left kind of thing. And
Yes.
the statue itself, like, it's kind of vague. Like, Jacinta Allen, the premier, she's like, I mean, to deface and say "death to Australia" across a monument which was actually celebrating a great step forward for democracy.
Which is really funny, right? I read a lot of those things where it's like, well, this actually was all about this and this and this, and I looked up the actual
Okay,
statue,
cool.
and
I
I've got
was
the
wondering.
inscription on the statue,
Gone.
which is just erected, and this is the Roman year, MMCCCLXXI.
Hold on. MM is 2000.
CC.
It's not MCM?
No.
Okay, MMCCC?
Yep.
So that's 2,300.
LXXI. I think this
That's
was originally.
2380.
I think now, from what I saw, it was erected in like the 1920s, I think.
Okay, so this must be MCM because MMCCCLXXI would be 2,371.
Amazing. Well, then they've just
but
copied the inscription wrong on the
it's-
website I got it
yeah,
from.
if it's MCM, which probably AI did it. If it's MCM, then that would be 19, whatever the rest of I said, 2071.
And it says, to the memory of some of the earliest pioneers of this colony whose remains were interred near this spot.
Oh, so it's a pioneer burial ground.
Yeah, functionally.
It's a monument to the right to vote.
You know? Like, all this shit they were saying about it, and I was like, well, that can't be right. So I looked at a picture of it, and I
Yeah.
was like, well, this is just a pillar.
It's just a
This
pillar.
isn't even like a guy or anything. And so I went on to, what was it? monumentaustralia.org.
Well, that's an
which-
organization.
Which is a kind of funny site because it's old as shit, right? Like, it
Oh,
looks
hell
like an
yes.
old website. Like, if you pop it in, monumentaustralia.org.
Yeah, I'm going over to monumentaustralia.org.
I also...
Wow.
Yeah, it inspired me to wonder how many, like, monuments do we have in Australia that we could say are connected to colonialism,
Oh, yeah.
to, like, the pioneering violent settling of the land, right?
Yeah, how many are there?
And SBS says that there's, like, over 200. And
Okay.
I wanted to go onto Monument Australia, which seems dedicated to, like, categorizing all the monuments in Australia.
Uh-huh.
And they do have ones that are, like, government, colonial, and they
Yeah,
also
I'm
have,
looking at it
like,
right now.
like, location, settler and stuff. The search function on this old-ass website is busted.
Yeah, you're going to have to search via Google
Like,
and just do, like, site Monument Australia.
You
Because
know?
this website is terrible.
it's horrendous.
I mean,
But it's
this
got,
is
like,
an
the information.
organization.
Yeah.
I mean,
It feels like it's, like, not run by any, like, through monetary means. I
it
feel
seems like
this
it
is a
was
volunteer
established in
site.
2010, which feels almost too...
That's crazy. Look how old it is. This
Like
looks
that-
like it's from the 90s.
It looks like it's from the 90s. I guess, like, no disrespect to Monument Australia, but I don't think the people
Full
running the site
disrespect.
are young.
You need to have an update to this thing because it would be great to be able to see all these. I was scrolling through the list and I was like, it's not even ordered in a way that's like nice to look at. It needs an overhaul. The information is there, but it is difficult to access.
2002
2002
is when
Well, there we go.
the thing started, and it's this husband...
Has not been updated since then.
It's like a husband and wife team.
Incredible. See, look, this is a passion project and it shows. But it's got good information. It just needs a revamp. I need you to revamp the website so I can use
Hey,
it.
shout out UBC Web Design who did this design.
In
Well,
2002?
They're based in Ballarat. Yeah, I guess in 2010 it's the redesign.
Everybody go to monumentaustralia.org and see if they have a donation page or something, and like chuck a couple bucks their way and pray that they can put it towards perhaps some like functionality upgrades on the website, because it's got the information. It's got so much information.
Yeah, well, what about the Arrest Creek Police Memorial? A monument commemorating members of the police force who fought the bushrangers throughout Australia. Why is it called Arrest Creek?
Is that the creek they arrested everyone?
I guess so. Yeah. Well, that's really weird.
Anyway, so that's a fun little side quest.
Yeah.
But moving right along to our next thing, we can't forget Australia's favourite punching bag of the last 20 years, which is, of course, Muslims.
Yep.
According to reports in The Guardian, increased threats are being made to Muslim Australians, including at schools and at mosques. Lakemba, which we mentioned a little earlier, a largely Muslim suburb in Sydney that Pauline Hanson said she felt unwanted in, which is crazy because Pauline Hanson is unwanted everywhere.
No one's like happy to see her.
No. Lakemba has one of the largest mosques in Australia, and they've been subjected to increased threats, and as a result have had to increase security during Ramadan, which is the holiest month in the Islamic canon.
Happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan.
Do you say Islamic canon?
I did.
Wouldn't it be calendar?
Well, I said canon.
Is it in the canon?
Is Ramadan not in the canon of Islam?
Well, no, but it's a month in a calendar.
Yes.
The calendar, I guess, is part of the canon.
Well, there we go.
I guess I know what you're saying. I'm not saying it's non-canon, so I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's Ramadan is actually non-canonical. Ramadan is fanon,
No,
actually.
the Druze are non-canonical.
Okay,
Islam.
got it.
They were retconned out of being out of the Muslim canon.
Anyway, additionally, reports from Brisbane detail a white woman attempting to snatch the hijab off of a teenage girl while screaming that she and her similarly Muslim friends that she was with were trying to take over the country.
This is 3 14-year-olds.
Yes, these are, again, children.
And you saw the picture of the woman doing it.
Yeah, she looks that way, huh?
Uh-huh. I wouldn't expect that person to have progressive views.
I expect her to start barking like a dog when she's upset.
Honestly.
But like one of those crusty white dogs, because
Yeah.
she's crusty and white and a dog.
Yeah, fucking just tearing a hijab off someone. Also
a kid.
I want to be very
come
clear
on.
that someone's going to find an angle where the kid goes, "You're being really mean," and everyone's going to be like, "See, the kids are fucking bitches."
She
I
didn't
don't-
respect her elders, and so the elder had to just like fucking beat the shit out of her or whatever.
They're gonna play that. I'm gonna beat the shit out of someone. To be clear, the Shouldntacome podcast would never make a threat about anything.
Yeah, this is a non-threat related podcast. I think actually everything is a joke.
Yeah,
Legally, morally, ethically, I'm a jokester. I just like to
jokester.
tell a little
We're
joke.
having fun.
We're just having fun
We're
over here.
riffing.
Freedom of speech, freedom of speech.
Free-
My rights,
Free
my
Princess
rights.
Peach.
Free Princess Peach. Anyway, so I wrote a whole thing about how, like, the way that our figureheads in society act and behave and the things that they say influence the rest of society,
Yeah.
right? Like, our political leaders, our social leaders, our cultural leaders, you know, the people that we look up to and the people in power, their behavior does dictate a level of acceptability
Yep.
to the rest of the population. And it was a whole thing. And then I opened up another article and saw this quote from the chief executive of the Islamic College of Brisbane, which basically summarized it in like just fucking 10 words, which is basically, when hatred gets normalized in words, it reflects itself in actions. Which is functionally just everything that I was going to say, but I'd written like a fuckload of stuff. And I was like, he's gone and done it again.
This is shout out Mr. Ali Qadri, who has been serving as the CEO since 2020. That's fire. However, he also does speak at major conferences on artificial intelligence where he pushes boundaries of how technology can enhance learning experiences. So, okay, not a full shout out to Ali, who seems to be spearheading the AI boom at the Islamic College of Brisbane, but
Incredible work.
amazing.
It simplifies it really easily. When
gives people
hatred
something
gets
to say.
normalized, when hatred gets normalized in words, it reflects itself in actions.
Absolutely.
And that is the whole thing.
That is the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, like when
You want to know why things are happening the way they're happening, there you go.
Exactly, because once you say it and put it out there to a lot of people, people feel more happy to say it.
It's the same premise as the Nazi bus story, right?
Yeah.
You know, where it's like you let a Nazi come into your bar and have a drink. The next day he brings another friend. The next day they bring another friend. The next day, weeks from now, the whole bar is full of Nazis and you are a Nazi bar.
You have a Nazi bar.
Whereas,
Congratulations.
a Nazi comes in for a drink, you know that this is a Nazi, you tell them to get fucked, you will not serve them, your bar does not become a Nazi bar.
No, but it does become a target for an IDF drone strike.
Incredible stuff. And that's the thing. Or it becomes a Canberra bar that had their, posters ripped down by the AFP.
Shout out, what are they? Dissent bar? Shout out Dissent. Again, not an unqualified shout out. I know nothing about the man. But shout out Dissent bar.
Shout out.
Put those motherfuckers back up. They're pictures of American and Israeli political leaders wearing Nazi uniforms.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's if you are not willing to have a hard stance against like hateful speech when it arises in these people of power, that moves the dial, and that means that thing that they've said that they got no backlash for is now acceptable.
That's baseline.
That's baseline now.
And the transgressive thing is worse.
And you keep moving it,
Yep.
Suddenly you become less and less in touch with culture and society when you say, hey, that's really fucked, you said that,
Yep.
and everyone goes, no, that's normal. And then you live in a weird fucking, like, freak world.
Or you're in a different reality.
Yeah.
That, like...
It changes around you. You have to be able to, like...
Well, there's people out there today who will still say things like, Israel has the right to defend itself.
Yes.
Which, to somebody who is plugged into what that conflict, as it were, is an unbelievable thing to say.
Exactly. But someone who is only plugged into what they might browse through a news website or hear from a government official from our fucking government, that's the line. That's Australia's belief.
Yeah,
that's the right thing to think, because Australia's not wrong. I'm an Australian. Our Prime Minister said this, and that means that must be right.
Exactly. And if you're like a Liberal voter, Angus Taylor is basically saying what Pauline Hanson's saying, but slightly more polished.
You know?
Because he's a fucking Rhodes Scholar or whatever.
Exactly.
I was, because I was speaking with same friend last night about all of this, and we were talking about how there were, a bunch of these like foiled plots that have been discovered by a couple in Perth. One guy who was stockpiling weapons and had a manifesto. The other one, I've forgotten the details, but 2 white guys arrested for targeting mosques. I think the other one had like made threats at specific mosques, right?
And it was all very like similar to the Christchurch shooter.
Yeah.
Like Brendan Tarrant.
I think they're all like inspired by Brendan Tarrant. I think Brendan Tarrant is
sick.
Like, folks, if you have a racist uncle, he thinks Brendan Tarrant's cool.
Yeah.
Don't forget, cut out your racist family. Just don't talk to him. There's no need to. But my friend was saying how it does feel like this was always there, and the word we came down rather than radicalized was activated. And I think that's the other side of this, right? The acceptability. There's a lot of people in Australia who have been waiting their whole life to be able to kill Muslims.
Yes. Absolutely, yes. I think that is absolutely correct. This has always been an undercurrent, and sometimes you light the powder keg, like Cronulla.
Exactly.
I mean, other incidents like that, where it's just
Lakemba's saying that this is the worst in terms of their security situation that it's been since Cronulla.
Yes. Which is because of the atmosphere. I saw, and I forgot to grab it, because I've not to kind of like virtue signal, but I did delete the Instagram app, so I wouldn't be looking at it anymore.
Yeah.
But I did see a meme on there last week that was showing like the similarities between Pauline Hanson's like 2000s run versus like her run now, and the similarities in terms of like international wars, attacks on Muslim communities, like all these different things that were like mirrored kind of stuff, and I was like, that's crazy. That's a crazy one.
And I think,
it's because that's the environment that has been recreated. We have recreated the vitriol and racism that we had in the early 2000s, mostly, ostensibly, I would imagine, I was a child, as a response to the whole, like, 9/11, US is taking us all into a global fucking war that is just fucked in all aspects, and we are going to explicitly, as a nation, target people in a way that I think was periodically and sporadically done. I think probably a similar thing happened surely during the Vietnam War, where, Asians in Australia, and like during World War II and stuff,
Yep,
you know,
there
were
were
people
internment
were
camps.
interned.
There were internment
You know,
camps here.
it's just
And
another
Germans. They'll
Yeah.
even do it to other whites.
which is crazy.
When they start doing it to other whites, you know they're serious.
you know that it's all fucking over.
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's that
absolutely.
same thing. We've created another national atmosphere of just persecution and
Yep.
hatred, and that is going to breed violence in people who are already inclined to be violent. And Australians a drinking culture full of people with brain
you got a
damage.
drinking
So
culture,
like,
you got brain damage, you got lead poisoning, you've got rugby,
you know, you've got people with broken bodies and minds.
and they're now
who-
using ChatGPT.
Exactly. So now, God, what's that fucking thing where it's just like another stupid meme about some guy being like, "Hey, babe, Palestine's totally cringe, right?" And it's like my AI girlfriend, like as I'm about to like suicide bomb into like thing, being like, "Yeah, babe, so cringe."
That's what happened.
You
That's
know,
what all these
it's just like
the environment of hatred for other people is being reified in many Australian kitchens and
Yes.
lounge rooms and living rooms throughout the world. I've met members of my friends' families. I've met a couple members of your family who are happy to say things that in normal society would be viewed as disgusting. And it's really easy to feel like this is Pauline Hanson's fault, but that
It's
is
not.
to disregard the fact that Pauline Hanson was made by Australia. And a lot of people in Australia, especially a lot of older people, but we're looking at these attacks and they've all been people in their 20s, have these views. They have been raised with this view because they have to be raised with this view because the premise of Australia is this view that we are good and Asians and Muslims and Aboriginal people are bad. That is the
Yes.
premise of the country.
And I think a lot of people can get by with a hidden racism, or as not an overt racism when things are going well for the white population here.
Yep.
Things are not going well for the white population.
No, they're
here.
starting to struggle.
Everything is...
None of them can read.
none of them could read, but things are expensive.
Yep.
People get stressed.
Things are actually starting to get like noticeably expensive here.
People tell people like, you know, well, it is because like, what was that thing we saw on the front page or in the Sunday Telegraph or something where it's just like immigrants make things expensive.
That was, I think,
literally like the fucking headline.
The headline was immigrants making things expensive.
Yeah, you know?
Oh, it was really it was
And
gross.
It's just like, yeah, this is the story that's being told because instead of having the, you know, majority white population of Australia being mobilized against like the systems that are causing this, which is, you know, the government, the one
Yes.
who controls all of this.
Largely the liberalization of the economy, the selling off of state-owned enterprises to foreign companies, the privatization of much of the aspects of Medicare, the university, like the profitability of the university
Yeah.
sector, the ecological damage due to tourism, and the impact that people moving into parts of town to buy houses that they can't afford because capital gains taxes. Jim Chalmers is like, we might change negative gearing rules. They're not going to.
They've been
because
talking
they'll-
about that shit since we were in high school, which
They'll
was like 20
kill
years
Jim
ago.
Chalmers if he
Kill Jim
changes
Chalmers.
it. They don't give a fuck.
No, and like
Mark Liebler will kill Jim Chalmers in the street.
exactly, and knowing that all of this creates and breeds discontent within the populace, you have to give them something to fight against, and usually that's going to be pick someone who looks different, and
Exactly.
you know that way it's an easily identifiable threat.
Exactly. One that you
And
can,
that's what's happening again. You know, it's you can't. I just find it incredible how irresponsible so many cultural and societal and political leaders are, wherein they rile up people for their own popularity, for their own, you know, attention-seeking natures, and they rile people up and they create a furor and they incite people into acting violently or insanely or in whatever way, and then when that happens, they take no responsibility for their part in it.
well, because
No responsibility for it. And it's like, you did this.
when they're doing it, no one's looking at them.
Yeah.
Except for the people who love them.
Yes.
And then when it's happened, when the event has happened, suddenly everyone's looking at them and they can clean up their act a little bit.
Yeah, it's just it's outrageous. It's outrageous, and perhaps I'm too soft, but I think the way we play with people's lives on a day-to-day basis is like just super fucking sickening.
It's demonstrative of how unempathetically we treat our fellow person in general.
Yeah.
Like the way I hear regular people talking about delivery drivers.
Yeah.
That's a coded one.
It is,
When you're
isn't
complaining
it?
about a delivery driver, it's because you can finally complain about an Indian person.
Absolutely.
My slave didn't do what I wanted him to.
And speaking of, I wish I had the name of it, but I read a phenomenal book on, from the perspective of a delivery driver, that was genuinely incredible. Hang on, I'm going to find it because I do want to shout it out because it's a great book. The Delivery by Peter Mendelsohn. Is it this one?
Peter Mendelsohn? Oh, Mendelssohn. I was like, Peter Mandelson, the Epstein guy? The Delivery, 2021 by a novel by American writer Peter Mendelsohn.
Is this the one that I am thinking of?
I don't know.
Where's the fucking... God damn it, where's the fucking blurb?
Follows an immigrant to an unnamed country who works as a bicycle messenger making deliveries.
Yeah, I think this is it.
All right, folks, have a read of The Delivery by Peter Mendelsohn.
Yeah, like it's really, really interesting look at like the intersection of the people that we have deliver our things, the way that they are treated, the environments in which they're abused, both, you know, in line with the work they're doing and also just like by virtue of the work they do.
Yeah.
Like
The dangerous work.
yeah, it's dangerous work, the way people have to survive, and the really easy way it is to dehumanize someone that you do see as serving you in a way.
Yep.
And not thinking about, like, you know, the 3 seconds that you don't make eye contact with them, because you won't, but the 3 seconds you don't make eye contact with them and you don't think about the rest of their life, the rest of their day, anything. It's just, I am hungry, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it's a really good read. I fully recommend it.
Yeah, people. I mean, did you get that one from the library?
I did, yes.
Shout out the library.
Shout out the library.
But yeah, it's like I hate getting delivery.
Yeah.
Because of how
We
it
don't do
feels
it.
to do. We don't do it. Because of just how it feels to have somebody put food on your doorstep, especially since COVID. But there's a great deal of people in Australia, not necessarily even just the racists, who do hate the inconvenience of having to talk to someone else in any way.
Yeah.
There have been times where I felt that like massive introversion is like idolized by some people.
Yes.
And what it is doing is degrading your ability to see other people as people.
Yes.
Like I do treasure the interactions I have with people who work at local shops where I look them in the eye and ask them how they are when making our transaction.
Yeah.
Making our interaction go from 3 seconds to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
We're talking about things that are basic that a lot of people in the world do instinctually.
Yes.
And a lot of people are happy to spend a lot of money to avoid that ever happening. For instance, our old neighbor with that bitch-ass dog Weaver
Oh my
who bit
God,
you.
yeah.
And he'd have multiple delivery cars arguing with each other.
Yeah, hey, shout out to Weaver. You bit my fucking ankle. I still have a scar. And shout out to those neighbors who, yeah, on one occasion, we saw 2 different pizza delivery.
They were both for him.
That's insane. You can't have, like,
He would get
Domino's and
multiple
Pizza Hut
delivery.
fucking rock up at the same time. Both of them looking confused because they're like, oh, I'm delivering here. And they're like, I'm delivering here.
Yeah.
This fucking guy, like, comes out and he just, like, silently takes both pizzas and walks
with
away.
his
And it's
bitch-ass
like,
dog.
what the fuck?
Yeah. That was fucking heinous, that guy.
Crazy.
And like he would be getting delivery at least a meal every day.
Yes. Usually
often so.
multiple meals a
Yeah,
day. I was
usually
going to
lunch
say,
and dinner.
because we lived in like a little like townhouse cul-de-sac
complex,
situation,
yeah.
like he was directly opposite us. Like
Yeah.
the cars would pull up.
There'd be a car, they'd
Every
put some
day.
food down, they'd leave.
Yeah.
I mean, he used to come out and be like, thank you, and take the thing, but after COVID, oh, well, we can just
Leave
write
at the door.
that
Now
part.
I don't even need to look at you. I
And
don't
then
even need
the
to speak to you.
absolute goal of the Australian government to refer to those people as essential workers. And like, now look at, I mean, on delivery, maybe this can, because otherwise I'm going to briefly segue to some China stuff.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to be segueing on a different way to China stuff, which was just being like, you know, speaking of like threats and threats of terror and stuff. We
Yeah.
had that like the Navy speech being interrupted
Yes,
in Canberra
big
with
fan
like
of that. Whoever did that, who threw rocks through the windows of the
and like a device or whatever.
a device that's alleged to be explosive through the windows.
Apparently,
to,
it was just leaf litter.
Yeah,
inside
of
of it.
course.
It was just like they set it on fire and threw it in. But
right. Yeah. Shout out that person.
know-
That's really cool. Fuck the Navy.
threats to Canberra, threats to like the politicians in Canberra, and
Yes.
threats to Shenyun, which is where I
Yes.
was kind of leading this discussion
Right.
to.
I was gonna go via the Hungry Panda.
Well, we can
delivery
talk
driver.
about
I don't
both,
think I don't
damn
have
it.
anything else to say about that. So Shenyun, the famously psychotic group that in general is perceived by all people as a nuisance that make lurid, unprovable claims about great torture.
Hey, that's Falun Gong.
The Falun Gong
Shen Yun
is Shen Yun.
is just dancing, I promise, I swear.
And they're the Epoch Times. Like, the Epoch Times is like an American company.
Yeah.
These are extremely right-wing American extremely right-wing American companies that supported Donald Trump during his elections,
Classic.
right? And Shen Yun's received, or fucking Falun Gong, someone's received threats being like, we will bomb the lodge. No, we have installed bombs around the lodge. And then they provide the address of the lodge.
They had to fucking, like, evacuate Albo because of threats against Shen Yun.
Yeah, and I am out here to say, like, Shen Yun sent that shit to themselves.
So funny.
Because they saw a 20% spike in ticket sales shortly after the incident, which the Shen Yun CEO said to the news. They're like, but we're not happy about this.
And that's the thing, right? You and I spoke about, like, the logistics of this, right? Because, reasonably, if you are, let's say, a security personnel, a police officer, a, ASIO person or whatever in Canberra, and you hear that there has been a threat against Shen Yun targeting the Prime Minister, alleging they have put bombs in the lodge, your first thought is, well, I know that's not possible. On the odds of things, I do have to remove the Prime Minister. Because, like, if there is a 0.5% chance of this, and we don't do something, we're fucked. But, like, it's like, we have to do this. We will return him to the lodge on the same day because we're just going to, like, investigate and do a sweep. And, like, 2 hours later, he was allowed to go back in because they were like, well, obviously there's nothing here.
Well, because
But we have to check because there's been a threat. But, like, it's like, okay, that is, on its face, an unbelievable claim, which then also throws into question every other claim that has been made so far about, like, we are going to, like, let off bombs in these locations if Shen Yun performs.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, we can just, like, go to those locations and check.
We can disprove
And so far,
that.
no bombs have been found.
Are we going to reach bomb threat saturation where, like, the bomb who cried wolf?
The
there
bomb
are
who
so
cried
many bomb
wolf?
threats that when it's a real bomb threat, people are like,
It's
man.
probably just a bomb threat.
It's probably some
you know?
Shen Yun stuff.
Well, and it was also interesting to kind of, like, look at, like, if we think that these are valid threats that have been made, which I think it's possible. I think we did talk about this. I think there is a high likelihood that this is just made by some, like, disgruntled old fuck that is just, like, pissed off about, like, Falun Gong for whatever reason. And it's just like, I'm gonna fucking make some phone calls and I'm gonna fucking teach them a lesson about pissing me off.
I did read something that actually made me stop and pause because, like, I read a while ago, but somebody referencing, like, people who have left Falun Gong, which is a cult, and controls your finances in your life, right? And that could be someone. I'd completely not considered that aspect. I could see somebody who was indoctrinated into Falun Gong now being that mad at Falun Gong.
Yeah.
I still don't quite understand how that person would lead to this outcome of being like, there are bombs in this location and in this location.
Yeah.
And giving the address of the lodge, I guess, is very strange. They're like,
know?
at the Prime Minister's residence on Adelaide Avenue. And it's like, no,
We know where that
the
is.
lodge.
Come on now.
And yeah, the threat was seen by ABC, but went to Shen Yun or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't believe it for a second. Obviously, I don't know if I'll ever be disproved about that. Probably they're never gonna find who did it because it's
That's the nature of, because like it was like a written threat.
I think it was like a written threat. But yeah, like, I don't have any time for fucking Falun Gong or whatever, but this is nonsense. This is nonsense, and I reckon they did that shit because, like, they saw a bump in their ticket sales. Like, I think they knew they would. Because people have, like, stopped worrying about China as much.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have a bigger enemy.
We have a bigger enemy.
And it's
Iran?
Yes. And Muslims.
Well,
specifically.
The Islamic Republic of Iran or whatever.
Yeah, but they come from everywhere, don't they?
They do come from everywhere.
They come from everywhere.
I
And
guess...
they come to this country and they're just trying to take over the country.
Oh, Iran.
I say to some child.
Iran says Khamenei is fine.
Yeah, see, this
Khamenei.
is the thing, right? Like, they're just going to keep, like, unless there's, like, physical proof of his death or life, like, this is the exact stance both nations are going to take because it's in their interest politically to do so.
Yeah.
That'd be the shit, Anyway, yeah, so, hey, guys, probably, like, lots more will have happened since we speak on this.
I'm going to try to put it out
soon,
but, like, there's going to be, we're talking about something that started about 15 hours ago.
Yeah, like quite literally.
Based on the last one, like things could wind up in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Who knows how stage managed this whole thing is. But yeah, and I'll let you know if Solomon Lou gets back to me about having dinner with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My dinner
I
with
guess
Jeffrey.
We'll be back next week. I hope to have more Bob Catter stuff written.
I also hope to get a bit more Pauline Hanson. So we will be endeavouring to get into our long form biographies, I suppose, on these famous figures.
Yep. I'm also considering writing an episode about surrogacy, which we were going to speak about today, but we've had plenty to chat about. But there's, I think, something interesting to be said about the usage of brown bodies.
Absolutely, yes. I think there is a lot to be spoken about, and I think on the right of the right, I say in quotation marks, that people have to children.
Exactly. But that's a different controversial topic. So in summary today, Albo, you pathetic piece of shit. You seem insecure. You seem
insecure.
Like you're losing your mind. You seem like you're upset that we're not respecting you. Hey, just give up.
Yeah, hey, it's because we don't.
Just step in front of a car. You won't die.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You've had a lot of run-ins with cars, my friend.
Listen, my uncle was hit by 4 cars in his life. Albo's not there yet.
That's fair.
None of them killed him.
Hey, what did?
Lung cancer.
Well.
From the smoking.
Bye.